We are here at the Chief Tacoma Cemetery on East Street, where the VFW held a Memorial Day service. We're going to be showing that in its entirety.
Or the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Since time immemorial, Western societies have canonized warriors who sacrificed their lives. Exactly what makes up the character of those willing to sacrifice their lives? In the face of death, they resolved to rely upon themselves. And when the moment came, they were minded to resist and suffer rather than to fly and save their lives. They ran away from the word dishonor, but on the battlefield their feet stood fast, and in an instant, at the height of their fortune, they passed away from the scene, not from fear, but from glory. These words apply equally to the Americans who have died in Afghanistan and Iraq, and to those who preceded, dating back to the Revolutionary War. As our society drifts further away from the realities of war, it is necessary to remind the public of what the tiny minority does for the vast majority. That is what Memorial Day is all about. The VFW pledges is to honor the dead by helping the living. Please sit down. American Legion, Garen Hesketh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen and fellow veterans. American Legion Commander Jimmy Foster likes to say that Legionnaires are saved, S-A-V-E-D. That's serving America's veterans every day. We do this not just because it is right for veterans, but it is what their fallen brothers and sisters in arms would want. During a speech delivered in St. Louis on November 13th, Marine Corps Lieutenant General John F. Kelly recalled the sacrifice made by two Marines in Iraq, Corporal Jonathan Yale and Lance Corporal Jordan Harder. A couple of years ago, security cameras recorded Corporal Yale and Lance Corporal Harder on sentry duty outside barracks housing 50 Marines in Ramadi. A large blue truck loaded with 2,000 pounds of explosive headed in their direction. Nearby Iraqi police did what most normal people facing certain death would do. They fled. Not the two Marines. Knowing that they only had seconds to live, they stood their ground, fired their weapons non-stop at the truck, and died in the ensuing blast. According to the security footage, the men did not even step aside, but actually leaned into danger. Their actions saved countless lives. And General Kelly himself knows of great sacrifice. Just days before telling about the heroism of his Marines, General Kelly's own son, Second Lieutenant Robert M. Kelly, was killed in action in Afghanistan. We must honor our fallen and remember them, but that alone is not enough. They died not just for their country, but for their comrades serving next to them. The United States would have survived if Corporal Yale and Lance Corporal Harder fled from their post, but the Marines serving with them would not have. They died protecting those with whom they served. Their lives saved are their legacy. And U.S. Army Corporal Zachary Nordmeyer also left a legacy. Killed by enemy gunfire in Balad, Iraq in 2009, Zachary's family and the American Legion Riders of Speedway, Indiana Post 500 have raised thousands of dollars in Zachary's honor for Operation Comfort Warriors. These donations have been used to purchase therapeutic athletic equipment, CD, electronics, and other gifts for wounded warriors recovering in U.S. military hospitals and rehabilitation units around the world. It is nothing short of inspirational that even after heroes like Zachary Nordmeyer have given their lives, they continue to give some more. And Shakespeare wrote of the bond between warriors in Henry V. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he that shed his blood with me shall be my brother. More than 1 million American service members have died in wars that our nation has been involved in since the first colonial soldiers took up arms in 1775. Many of them died protecting one another, but they served so that we could help the things that we love the most: God, country, and family. By remaining true to these principles, we honor their sacrifice. Observances like this are happening in communities across America, but there can never be too many of them. As the unofficial beginning of summer, we must never lose focus of what Memorial Day means. It's not about beaches, picnics, or auto races. It is a day to remember men like Army Sergeant First Class Lance Vogler, the 29-year-old from Savannah, Georgia, gave to his country repeatedly until he made the supreme sacrifice on October 1st, 2010. He was serving his 8th tour in Afghanistan after serving 4 tours in Iraq. That's 12. Yes, 12 tours of duty in both wars in just over 9 years since the 9/11 attacks. His husband and father gave to his country until he simply had nothing left to give. We must never forget what these heroes have done and what their loved ones have lost. There are many ways to remember our fallen heroes. The traditional way is with flowers and flags for their graves, or with observances such as this. If you ask our heroes before they died how they would like to be honored, most would probably say, "Take care of my family." That's why Hal Moore tells us in We Were Soldiers Once and Young that the last words of many soldiers dying on the battlefield are, "Tell my wife I love her." That is also why in his second inaugural address, Abraham Lincoln included widows and orphans when he pledged that the government would care for him who shall have borne the battle. Remembering our fallen once a year is not enough. The widows, widowers, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, and children remember every day. The empty seat at the dinner table, the smaller gathering on Thanksgiving, and the voice of a loved one heard only as a distant memory in one's mind are constant reminders that they are gone. The American Legion has always shown great pride in our nation's fallen heroes, an unending support for those America sends to continue the fight for freedom in many countries of the world. Whether one fought in World War II, Korea, the jungles of Vietnam, the Middle East, or elsewhere, the stories of American heroism and sacrifice continue to resonate. The preamble to the Constitution of the American Legion calls on us to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in the great wars. It is important that all veterans, their families, and in fact all Americans pause to reflect on, remember, and give thanks to our many heroes. We owe them no less. Thank you all for being here. God bless our veterans, our fallen. God bless America, and God bless SEAL Team 6.
Thank you, Johnny. This time I would like to introduce Paul Gacciola, Commandant, the Marine Corps League. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out this morning. I was speaking with my children in the car this weekend, asking them what they knew about Memorial Day. They're young. They didn't know anything. They're here today. They're learning. And what I'd like to impress on everybody is bring our youth into the fold. Let them know that we have people over in Afghanistan for them, over in Iraq still. Young men that are out there. They've taken an oath of allegiance to our country, to our Constitution, and they're out there serving it out for us. Our country was started on this idea of freedom. The seed of freedom was planted with the blood of those patriots. And as everybody knows, that tree needs the blood of patriots and tyrants from time again. So that's what we're here today, to remember those patriots. The young lady that gave a beautiful rendition of our song, I like to call my song, I think she did a fantastic job. I'd like to see our young people involved. Bring our young people in. Your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids. We're losing every day World War II veterans. Then our Korea veterans are next. Right now, we have a lot of Vietnam veterans, but someday they'll also be the ones that are on the edge there. So reach out, get those younger people into your fold. They'll be the future leaders. The people from Desert Storm, bring them in. The people that are serving now in Iraq and Afghanistan, don't forget them. They will be the future. So, in closing, I'd just like to say, bring our young people in. That's what I'd like you to take away. Have them remember this day, this Memorial Day, where we remember all those veterans who gave everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Also, I'd like to recognize the Kiwanis Club, who assisted us yesterday morning at 7 o'clock, and it felt like about 32 degrees, for putting the flags on the grave sites. The kids and the adults did a wonderful job, and they really worked hard, and I'd like to appreciate and give them my thanks. At this time, I would like to introduce James Gunny Arntz to recite Logan's Law General Order Number 11. Gunny?
Here it is.
Headquarters, Grand Army of the Republic, Washington, D.C., May 5th, 1868. General Order Number 11. 1. The 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. In this observance, no form of ceremony is prescribed, but post and comrades will in their own way arrange such fitting services and testimonies of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized, comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind and fraternal feelings which have bound us together, the soldiers, sailors, and Marines of the United States, to suppress the late rebellion. What can aid more to assure the results than by cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead, who made their breast a barricade between our country and its foes. Their soldier lives were the reveille of freedom to a race in chains, and their deaths the tattoo of rebellious tyrants in arms. We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. All that the concentrated wealth and taste of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of their slain defenders. Let no wanton foot tread rudely on such hallowed ground. Let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism or avarice or neglect or ravage of times testify to the presence of or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. If other eyes grow dull and other hands slack,
and other hearts cold in the solemn trust, ours shall keep it well as long as the light and warmth of life remain within us. Let us then at the time appointed gather around their sacred remains and garland the passionless mounds above them with the choicest flowers of springtime. Let us rise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us in the solemn presence renew our pledges to aid and assist those who have left among us a sacred charge upon our nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widows and orphans. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate the observance with the hope that it will keep up from year to year, while a survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of his departed comrades. He earnestly desires the public press to call attention to this order and lend its friendly aid in bringing it to the notice of comrades in all parts of the country in times of simultaneous compliance therewith. Department commanders will use every effort to make this order effective. N.P. Chipman, Adjutant General. By order of John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief.
Comrades, as long as two comrades survive, so long will the veterans of foreign wars of the United States render tribute to our heroic dead. Comrades, attention. On this day forever consecrated to our heroic dead, we are assembled once again to express sincere reverence. This monument represents the resting places of many departed comrades who served in all wars. Wherever the body of a comrade lies, the ground is hallowed. Our presence here is in solemn commemoration of all these men, an expression of our tribute to their devotion to duty, to their courage and patriotism. By their services on land, on sea, and in the air, they have made us their debtors. For the flag of our nation still flies over a land of free people. Parade rest. Comrade Chaplain, you will ask the divine blessing. Uncover, please.
Father of us all, in the depth of our silent reverence, we realize the truth of the inspired words. I am the resurrection and the life, and he that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. As comrade after comrade depart, we march on with our ranks growing thinner. Help us to be faithful unto thee and to one another. Look in mercy on the widows and children of our departed comrades, we beseech thee. And with thine own tenderness, console and comfort those who are bereaved. Heavenly Father, bless our country with freedom, peace, and righteousness. And through thy favor may we meet at last before thy throne in heaven. We praise thy great and holy name forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Attention, officers and members of Clyde E. Newman Post 10054, veterans of foreign wars of the United States. We will now pay our respects to our departed comrades. In so doing, we offer solemn tribute to all comrades wherever they may rest. Comrade Senior Vice Commander.
On behalf of Post 10,054 veterans of foreign wars of the United States, I place this symbol of our remembrance.
Comrade Junior Vice Commander.
I place the symbol of purity on this comrade's grave. And each future generation living with the unselfishness, courage of all men who fought for freedom.
Comrade Officer of the Day.
Memory of the heroic dead who have fallen in defense of the United States of America, I place this tribute of our devotion and everlasting remembrance.
Madam President of the Ladies Auxiliary to the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
On behalf of the Ladies Auxiliary of the Veterans of the Foreign Wars of the United States, I place this emblem of eternity. Its color bespeaks life everlasting. Thus do we immortalize the brave deeds of our soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen who have given their lives on land, sea, and in the air.
On behalf of our glorious republic, for whose integrity our comrades enlisted and served, I place this emblem of the nation. The flag of our country was theirs to defend. Its glorious colors shall wave over them in death as in life for everyone to behold. To you, comrades who have departed, we render a silent salute. Comrades in the silent land beyond, wherever your mortal remains may rest, these solemn services we hold in tribute to you. Present arms. Order. Arms. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming out and helping me with this ceremony. The crowd is just, it overwhelms me. I thank you all again, and next year we'll do it again. Thank you all very much for coming out.
Good to see you, Dad.
Seeing you.
Watering hole, probably.
Probably.